Today, I want to talk about how I went from having a debilitating back injury where I had to give up all of the activities that I loved in my life and could barely function without painkillers, could not sit at work all day, could not go to dinner with friends, could not do any of the things that I loved anymore. How I went from that to through hiking the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine. This is a subject that ruled my life for years. When I was 29 in 2013, I herniated a disc in my back, my L5-S1. Some people with herniated discs don't even notice they did it. For me, I was in massive, horrible pain every single day of my life. I couldn't walk down the street without being in pain. I couldn't sit for more than 15 minutes at a time. I had to build myself a standing desk at work to get through the workday. I could not get through the workday without painkillers. I couldn't go out to dinner or out for drinks with friends anymore because I couldn't sit there for dinner. I couldn't risk getting bumped into, or it would send me into horrible, horrible pain. Pain in my back, pain shooting down my legs. I always used to be a huge runner. I loved to run. I ran almost every single day for probably a decade, and I had to cold turkey give up running. This is also a story of being your own health advocate. Because I was young in terms of having a back injury, the insurance company and doctors were not super keen on doing any sort of invasive procedure, any kind of surgery in order to fix my problem. I had to have test after test after test after test because they thought that the herniation didn't look bad enough to warrant the amount of pain that I was in. I had to go to many, many months of physical therapy. I had to try a whole bunch of different medications. I had to get steroid injections into my spine. I had to get a test where they put these little pipe type things down in, or like needles, but like hollow needles, down into my discs in my spine, and they blew air into them to see which one was causing me the pain. Surprise, surprise, it was the one that was herniated. It was the most pain I've ever been in my life. I'm not like a dramatic person who overreacts about things, and I screamed bloody murder when they put the air down into that disc. I had to fight to get care because, again, I was 29 and all my doctors wanted to just wait and see, it'll heal itself. But after being in over a year of debilitating pain and having nothing else work, I was finally granted the right to have surgery. I ended up getting a spinal fusion, and they told me that I would feel totally back to normal and healed within 3 months. That was not the case. It took 6 months until I was able to get off painkillers. And once I did, I immediately went through withdrawal because I'd been on opiates for over a year. And I felt so terrible physically that I vowed to never take another one again, and I never did. And then it took another 6 months until I even began to feel like I started healing. I expected, because I was told that once I got out of surgery, my back wouldn't hurt anymore. It would just be like the incision in the front. That was not true. It took a year until I could really start my healing journey. I started doing yoga, I started rock climbing, and I started swimming again, which I'd been doing pre-surgery as well, because all of those things strengthen your core, and I was told that they would help strengthen my back. After probably a year of doing these things, which was, so then we'll say 2 years post-surgery, then I started to feel better and back to normal. I had to fight to get all those things done, so I would say if you have a medical issue and that nothing is working for you, or doctors keep pushing you off and saying, oh, it'll be fine, it'll be fine, it'll be fine, fight for yourself. I was so miserable and in so much pain that I legitimately think that I would not be here today if I was not able to get that surgery. So fight for yourself and your rights. Modern medicine is wonderful. So anyway, I got my surgery in 2014, started to really feel better in 2016, and I thru-hiked the entire Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine in 2018. I will never be completely normal. I still have chronically tight hips and hamstrings. I have arthritis in my back, which flares up when there are big storms or I get my period. My back will start to bother me if I sit for long periods of time, but it's like a dull aching pain instead of a sharp nerve pain. It's not like, oh, I can't function with this pain. It's just like, oh, this is a little bit annoying. And I haven't regularly picked up running since then, even though for years I was such an avid runner, just because it tends to exacerbate my tight hips, my hip pain. But maybe someday, one can only hope. But anyway, so I thru-hiked the entire trail. I did, I would have some pain sometimes, like when there were storms, and on the AT, there's a lot of rain and a lot of humidity and a lot of storms, so I would feel it sometimes. But overall, hiking the AT, I got stronger and stronger and stronger, and I could feel the difference in my back with doing that. Taking care of your body, keeping it fit, becoming stronger, it all helps get to a less painful place. And the reason that I did the AT was that when I was dealing with this back injury and couldn't go hang out with my friends and was staying home a lot more than usual, I was doing a lot of reading. And so during that time, I read Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods. Even though this book had been sitting on the bookshelves of places I had worked and been for years, I had never picked up this book. And finally, when I was dealing with this back injury, I finally picked it up and read it. And I was immediately taken by this idea of hiking the trail. And I promised myself that if I was ever well enough again to do this, that I would do it. And so in 2018, 2 years after I started feeling normal, 4 years post back surgery, I took my first steps and I made it all the way. And I've never been more proud of anything in my entire life. So I just want to say that if you are dealing with something super hard, an injury or something else, I think you just need to advocate for yourself and find something to look forward to and find something to keep going for. And this is what the AT became for me, something to keep going for, to keep going forward for, to keep working toward. And eventually, after a lot of hard times, really hard times, I finally got there. And it was just like the greatest moment, realizing that I had done it and hiked the entire trail. So anyway, that's my story about how I went from having a debilitating back injury to hiking the Appalachian Trail. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you've been through something similar and made it through to the other side, or even if you are in the middle of something now and dreaming of something in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. See you all later.